Welcome back to Creativerse. All right. Well, things are looking pretty decent here. As a matter of fact, even in recent days, even the pets have been staying put in their assigned places in the barn, which is good. It was kind of odd the way they wouldn't, and now they're behaving as intended, so that's good. Let's see. One of the things I have been wanting to get busy with for a while, and I really need to, because my storage runneth over. Like, for example, I still have these chests of obsidian gear from the Halloween event sitting up here on my roof because I have no other place to put them. And so, yeah, I've got some chests that are beginning to be doubled up and so on. And I need to get a warehouse put together so that I have a master storage facility to keep everything in. And just keep a certain amount of stuff here for incidental use, crafting and whatnot. And the master supply located in the warehouse instead. Now, one of the big problems with the warehouse is figuring out what to build it out of. And I was looking at a lot of things. I was looking at this medieval brick wall. It's good stuff. I like it. But it's largely a white block. Not quite as white as the limestone, but still noticeably so. And by the way, I want to grab, say, heck, I'll just take the stack up and worry about it. Yeah, I want to try something with those. The haunted, nothing in there really kind of speaks out for this sort of thing. Galactic could work for a factory. I'm thinking it's too light colored. I like the galactic stuff, it's great, but it's just too light colored. And by the way, Galactic Floor and Galactic Pipes. There is something that was completely overlooked when they were made. You look in there in the grate and you see pipes. You see at least one power conduit and a couple of fluid pipes of various kinds. And then you take this here, the galactic pipes. And what you can't do, and it's a... Get off of that! Jeez. What you can't do, and it's a crying shame that you can't do it, is that there is no way in the world to get these pipes to line up with the openings on there. You just can't do it. You turn them and rotate them any which way. That one sort of kind of approximates it a little bit, but I mean, really, guys, you missed a trick here. You missed something really great, a great opportunity to have this continue uncovered in the form of this that would match up with the openings, right there. That would match up with this stuff on the block. That would be so great if it did that. And it's a real crying shame that it doesn't. Because, playful, guys, you missed a real opportunity there. All right, meanwhile, I want to head over here to the ice factory just for a moment. Oh, for crying out loud. Really? Thanks for the gizzard. No thanks for the interruption. Okay. Somebody in the comments pointed something out, and I didn't even see this because, well, I didn't. The medieval chain with the industrial lamp. It's a natural. Oh, stop it. pull the lamp down, put up a chain, put the lamp back, and all of a sudden it looks right. And that is great. I'm sorry, I don't remember your name, whoever that was. I'm terrible with names. I don't mean anything personal by it. I'm terrible with names. I eventually learned them, but it takes me a while. But the idea here is thank you so much for pointing this out. It's great. Now, the one that I'm not going to do of these, or the ones, is these two here, because I'm just going to assume that they're hardwired right into something in the ceiling there like that. Yeah, okay, and then there's this one here out over the door. If this industrial wall came in a slope, or there was some kind of a slope that would fit with this, I might consider hanging this from something that would come out as an awning. I may try to do something like that later anyway, just simply because it makes sense. Now, about the ice machine, I've got it basically deactivated and all the ice pulled out of it because glitchiness and bugginess took all the water out of it. Now, I originally, in order to combat the fact that block phasers these days like to eat blocks occasionally, I put in a switch here. I figured, okay, when finished with a session in here, hit the switch, block phasers would all activate because it's wired to all of them, and that would pick up the water blocks there and everything would be perfect. It would be right. And then you come in, go to use it, turn the switch off, and the block phasers release the water and everything's fine. But the problem is, of course, the block phasers were eating the water block. So I've been leaving that switch alone. And the problem is, when I come back, when I log back in, there is not a water block here. Because apparently, when the block phaser first loads in, it's in the activated state. It has to load in and then deactivate. Which means that's causing it to eat the water blocks in some way. I'm not exactly sure what that's all about, but that's what's going on. So if anybody has built anything even remotely like this, that's why your water keeps disappearing. It's because the block phasers are eating it. And so what I have done is about the only thing I can do, and that is harvest all the ice, turn the switch on there, have the water blocks captured, harvest all the ice, and then flip the switch and go back. Well, actually harvest all the ice plus this one bottom block here, and then turn these things on and go pull the water block out from the thing. Either that or just let it eat the water blocks and keep a supply of water in here. It's kind of a pain in the butt, but it works. Alright, the main other thing now is the previously mentioned warehouse, which I'm kind of thinking to put over in this area somewhere. Something like that. The main trick is I've been thinking of what to use for it, because basically you've got the techno barn over there, which is made with the Galactic stuff, which is very nice. It's great stuff, but it's kind of light colored, which is all fine and dandy for that. I wanted that. And then there's this building, which is built with bedrock and limestone and stone roof and stuff like that. Again, very light colored block. This thing built with limestone wall and chiseled limestone columns, stuff like that. Again, a lot with the limestone, the light colored stuff. And this is mostly limestone. So I'm thinking I want the warehouse to have a different overall look to it. I'm getting an awful lot of limestone going on here, which is all fine and dandy, great, but you need a little bit of variety unless to keep the thing from being all the same. This is why I went ahead and used all that iron on that industrial ice thing over there. So that's why I was originally looking at the your medieval stone bricks or whatever you call them and so on. It's great stuff, but again, it's too light. And the stuff in here, well, red adobe, dark stucco, I don't think so. Well, maybe, sort of, kind of. Let's throw a piece out here. Okay, ish. I thought about something like this, but it's too busy. And it doesn't quite fit a warehouse. And then there's the blue-green pattern ceramic. Let's see. I can see that being trimmed, but it's not a main block. You know, that's the sort of thing I'm looking at here. Stucco wall. The stucco looks good from a distance. You get up close, and this pattern starts drawing the eye in such a way that makes me scream, that wall is supposed to be flat. It isn't. Even if it is, it isn't. And, well, let's see, the Moroccan and stuff like that. No, it's just not going to do for this. Okay, what do we got here? Sandcastle wall. That actually has potential. That actually has some serious potential, especially if it was possible to dye the thing. And by dyeing it, I don't mean just red, blue, and green, red, blue, and yellow, but how about mixing colors? Wouldn't that be awesome? Yeah, I know that's not going to happen anytime soon, if it ever happens. But yeah, the sandcastle wall, liking that. You know, no. No. Alright, miscellaneous wood blocks. I have enough redwood wall. You know, it's interesting. Redwood wall drops from a bunch of different mobs. But there is also blue wood wall and yellow wood wall. And they don't, to my knowledge, drop it from anything. But I have over 3 stacks of redwood wall. And I have never made any of it. Never. Ain't that a mess? Alright, pop that away in there. And so, yeah, but the redwood wall, no, I'm not going to use that. Not for, I don't know. The redwood wall looks like barnwood. As a matter of fact, so does the blue wood and yellow wood. They all just look like barnwood to me. And, yeah, not necessarily a bad thing in itself. So what I ended up settling on, brick gingerbread for the main wall structure. Just the brick gingerbread, not the other forms of gingerbread or whatever, just the brick gingerbread. And I forgot to bring a stack of snow. I went out and harvested a mess of it, and I still forgot to bring it. So I figure I go ahead and get myself a stack of wheat and a stack of molasses. Wheat and molasses, and start making a lot of gingerbread. And use that to make up a bunch of the gingerbread brick. And by a bunch, I mean basically as much as I can actually manage to do at one shot. All right. Let's get some more wheat going on here. Apparently, I didn't get enough. Oh, I get it. It's using 4 wheat at a time. All right, let me get another stack. I got it now. Yeah. Okay. Hello? Yeah. Okay. And also, I need to do some work down here in the farming area at some point, reasonably soonish. And this may just be something I'll do off camera, I don't know. But processing. There needs to be some serious processing facility down here. Because when I harvest the farm, I end up with basically whatever crop I'm harvesting, I need to take 600 of it and put it into processors to make seed for the next planting of that crop. And what I've been doing so far is just haul the seed upstairs and process it there. And I'm thinking it would be better if I didn't have to do it that way. Not only do I want to keep the processing for a thing in that thing's area, like for example, the processing of seed should be kept down here in the farm area. So I'm thinking maybe I take a chunk of this wall out, and I know there's a mine tunnel in there somewhere. Yes, it's only 1 block back. But, you know, move this wall back and put in a place where I can put a long row of processors. Because I figured it out, I did the math, and to take 600, like for example, 600 lettuce, and cut that into seed, I'm going to need just a little bit more than 28 processors. So I figured go ahead and put in a line of 30 of them. And that way I can set it all down in the processors, getting cut at the same time. And by the time I finish setting the last one in, the first one should be just about ready to be taken out of the processor. And that makes for a nice smooth operation. I need to do that sometime soon, and maybe work something into this wall where I do that, where it doesn't just look like a whole mess of stone. And maybe do something about the rest of the room in here. Like this ceiling is, again, it's just stone. What if I put something out? What if I made this ceiling into salt the way I did in here? I think that might be an idea. I don't know what it would do to the lighting glitch festival that happens whenever this farm is harvesting or growing or whatever, but it might be worth a try. Let's see. Now, this stuff. Okay, I got my gingerbread loaf and my snow. All right, let's see here. It's actually a good brick design. All right, now granted, it is just a little bit cartoonish, but that's okay. it looks like brick. It has a brick kind of look. All right. Now, where to do this? I'm thinking in the general area, of course. Possibly over here. Maybe even over this way, behind the factory. Part of the reasoning is that, you see, over that way, the direction I'm looking, is that's where the farm is. And I'm thinking I want to have more and more stuff come over this way, away from the farm. Because at some point I want to be able to be somewhere in my domain here locally where I'm far enough away that I don't hear the farm. I think that's just, I don't know, it's a bit much sometimes. And I know somebody's going to say, well, you made it that way yourself by making the farm so doggone big. Yeah, I did, I know. But still, wouldn't it be great if the volume on that particular music and every other music was configurable individually? Choices are a great thing. Options are a great thing. The ability to customize things like varying sound levels would be awesome. And I know the developers are very busy. They got all kinds of amazing stuff they're working on. I know. But volume controls are pretty much almost stock standard. In fact, in a way they are, because there's already several volume controls built into the game. All they need to do is clone one and repurpose it. Anyway, I'm ranting a little bit, I know. And let's see. Oh, don't do that. And so if I get the warehouse started over probably in this area, one thing I will try to do is to not make it so tall that I have to cut 3 trees to make room for it. Because, and it's not that I object to getting rid of the trees, it's just that it takes a while. Especially when I do it, and I've decided pretty much that I actually want to recover a lot of the leaves because I'm using them as fuel for those things that I'm just not in enough of a hurry to decide that it's worth spending tar bread or coal on. Although I do have positively stupid amounts of coal. So I'm thinking, let's see, along here where this log is, along in there is where I want the eventual roadway to go. And by roadway, I'm just going to, and actually a road would probably be sunken in. And no, I'm not going to make the road out of that. I've already settled that for the roadway, the main roadway, I want to use asphalt. And I'm just kind of a placeholder, place marker for roughly where the roadway is going to go. And it'll probably be 3 or 4, maybe 5 blocks wide. And it'll come down this way, and it'll be a main thoroughfare through this part of the forest. And yeah, and so, well, if I figure 5 blocks wide, that means start along about here and fill in a bunch there. All right, let's start with some brick. Tear a bunch of this stuff up out of the way. It's going to have to be moved back further anyway for the roadway to come through. And yes, I am actually going to, over time, pave most, if not all, of this forest. Because, yeah, I'm going to. All right, let's see. Well, maybe it doesn't need to be a floor block. We'll put that there as a placeholder for whatever ends up being the floor. All right. And right now I'm just kind of, well, just kind of spitballing here, figuring out what I want where and the basics of the overall look for the thing. Like, for example, it's going to have to be the same distance from the door to the edge no matter what. So what do we got here? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blocks. That sounds good. All right. 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 blocks. Let's just bounce this up. Yeah. And then in this space in here, some form of window. And that will come along here. And come up there, and it'll be, again, with the windows in this area. And then from here, a lot of floor block of some kind of variety. I'm not exactly sure what, or whatever. And I figure what I'll do is I'll just, I'm going to try to opt to make it long instead of excessively tall. Because if it gets much taller than this, I mean, there's room to have some kind of roofing type area or whatever, or roof type area, and so on. And it just make the thing on the lengthy side have a little bit of a lobby space in the front. I don't know if you want to call it a lobby, you know, some kind of front area where there's some space to work and have some things. And then a long area here where there's just rows upon rows of chests, all very carefully labeled and identified as to what they're going to have in them and so on. And yeah. And then on top of this layer of grass would go the eventual flooring material. And I might also just decide to, just as a detail, the grass immediately under the brick, replace that with stone or stacked stone wall or something like that to serve as a foundation, that type of thing. Yeah. But that's roughly in a nutshell what I've got in mind so far for a warehouse. And I'll grant you, it's not a whole heck of a lot. It really isn't. Just trying this out. Honestly, that doesn't look like a bad floor. It's light. It doesn't look like limestone, because there is a decided yellow cast to it, because, you know, sand and all that. Yeah. I'm liking this. This will make a good floor. It kind of has the look of a linoleum or tile kind of thing, which is not necessarily out of whack for a warehouse. I mean, if the warehouse was something where you kept refrigerators and auto parts, it might be a different matter. Then you might want concrete. I don't know. But, you know, we're not keeping refrigerators and auto parts in here. At least not that I know about. Anyway, that's pretty much what I'm working on here. And I think the actual construction of this thing will probably largely be off camera. What I'd love to do would be to do a third-person time-lapse to where I could have like another account, and which would be no problem if it were a free account. Take another account, position the character, say here, or stack up a little ways here or something like that, turn the HUD off and use that one for a camera. The problem is I only have one machine capable of running Creativerse, and it's already busy doing that. And yeah, it would just be so awesome if it was possible to run more than one instance of Creativerse on the same computer at the same time, each one accessing a different Steam account. And I know already, I've already done the research in the Google time. I know it isn't possible to do that. At least not currently. Anyway, I know I'm starting to ramble, and if I don't stop, this is going to turn into a vlog, and that's entirely a different creature. Yeah, anyway, I can't help it. I have a tendency to talk too much, and making game videos or any kind of videos gives me an avenue to exercise that ability to talk too much. Anyway, that's what's going on. We got the basically the materials for the warehouse, at least the starting materials, and the location are figured out. I'm working on the overall design still in my head, and that's actually going to take another day or two to get figured out and sorted out to the point where I'm willing to actually start constructing it. In the meanwhile, I really need to shut up. Thanks for watching. Take it easy. I am out of here.